welcome to another edition of the Wood Podcast. I'm John Miller, and this is Season 3, Episode 2. We are recording from the skate gym, and today I have with me new local, Jaxson Langley, who is also a ripper, and we're going to learn a lot about him today. This podcast is for, I used to say it's for the B team, for the people who, aren't quite pro, but this person I'm talking to here, I'd say he's kind of up there, man. So
thank you, man.
The skill set is really endowed with this one. So let's hear a little bit more about you. So
for sure, man. So my name is Jaxson Langley. I'm actually from Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
Up in the Panhandle of Texas. I grew up there most of my life. I've only lived in Leander for about 2 years. I actually was in Amarillo for quite a long time, maybe up till about the third grade. And then I lived in a small town called Fritch of about 2,000 people.
Fritch?
Yeah, Fritch.
Like Fritch?
Yeah, Fritch, Texas. So
how many people is that?
It literally about 2,000 people in the whole town.
Any stoplights or anything?
I mean, one. Literally.
One stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up at for most of my life, actually. It was probably, a good 10 or 12 years out there in that small town. So, but my dad is actually the reason that I started skateboarding.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my dad had skated for a long time since he was a kid.
Was he also from Fritch, Texas?
No, my dad was from Amarillo, actually.
Okay.
Yep. Born and raised there. We bounced back around from a couple of different cities and things like that, but mainly Amarillo is where my family's from. Kind of our roots are in that area mostly. But yeah, so he started us off really young.
Okay.
I mean, I started skating when I was like 2 years old, and so did my brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, literally. My dad, for me, I started walking at a really young age.
Yeah.
Compared to some people. So I was running around pretty easily,
So your dad was skateboarding before you all were born?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I was born.
What type of skateboards is this? Because you're how old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Okay.
Yep.
So that would have been about 1998 when you were born.
Yep.
If he was already skateboarding, he's probably skateboarding like a small popsicle, little wheels type of thing. No.
My dad was born in 77. So
your dad was born in 77.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
damn, I feel old. Okay.
No, yeah. My dad was born in 77.
Okay.
But so he was skating when the vert was really big. The Bones Brigade and everything like that as a young kid.
Yeah, my generation.
Yeah.
Like he's straight up my generation skater. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So that's what he grew up with.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely loved it. He never really did like a lot with it.
Yeah.
But he learned how to ollie stair sets and do things like that and skate ramps.
I mean, I'd say that's kind of a lot.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, back then, shredding and bombing hills and jumping ramps was kind of that thing,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he did a lot of that, but he started us off really young. I guess that he just wanted to see us do it.
Yeah.
And then we just really took a liking to it. So I really don't remember a time in my life when I wasn't skateboarding.
So it's just always been a fixture in every part of your life, even with your relationships with your parents.
Oh, yeah. My dad loves it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely loves it.
And your brother skates too?
My brother
skates. I've met him.
Yep. Jason. Yeah, he skates too. My uncles, they used to skate with us, and my cousin.
Okay.
So my dad was kind of like this leader, this little army of skaters that he created that were all of us. We were just all family,
Okay.
And so it was really cool of him to do that and spark the interest. But as it continued, as I got older, I just wanted to do it more and more and more. And it got to the point where he wasn't having to take us places. We were asking to go places ourselves, and we really wanted to skate,
Yeah.
because at the time, actually, as well, I had only a tennis court to skate at. It was only flat ground.
Oh, okay.
That's all I had. So
I was going to ask, like Amarillo, that it doesn't necessarily ring to me, especially Fritch, as like your skateboard hotspot.
No, Amarillo has a pretty dope skate community.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it does.
All
I was
right.
a big part of the skate community there. I knew a lot of people.
Now, I want to get into that, definitely.
Yeah.
But let's start like bringing it back to the tennis court. Yeah.
Going back to that. So, the skate community in Amarillo is pretty big, but in Fritch, really small. Yeah. I maybe knew one or two other kids at my school who liked skateboarding and kind of wanted to do it.
How many kids were in your school?
I mean, like my graduating class was like 32 people.
32 people.
So the school was really small, you know, very limited skate spots. And the one that was the closest to our house was like maybe a mile away from our house because we lived in the country.
Yeah.
And it was like a mile away from our house at this clubhouse, and it was just an old raggedy like tennis court.
Okay.
And that's where we would walk to go skate after
Yeah.
school all the time.
Okay.
And eventually, you know, we started building boxes
Yeah.
and bringing rails and got other people skating and stuff, you know, but
Yeah, a little DIY stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Happening. Yeah.
yeah, things like that. And then as I got older, the skate parks and other opportunities started to open up to me because I was older, you know? And so then it was kind of like I put a lot of time in on the flat ground. And then as soon as I got the opportunity to start going to skate parks, it was like this exponential growth curve that happened as I started to skate at skate parks, because now all of a sudden my dreams of being able to go to a skate park were now becoming reality, and I was able to actually like try and learn the things that I really wanted to do. And so I started skating at this skate park in Borger, Texas.
Borger, okay, like an oil town.
Yep,
okay,
oil town, and it's a little bit bigger than Fritch, but not very big at all. You know, but luckily they had a skate park. And that's where I started to meet other people who were better than me, because, you know, when you're the big fish in the small pond, the competition isn't very big, you know what I mean? But then you move out in the world and you meet other people. So I met this guy. His name is Justin Bays. Shout out to Justin, man. He's the homie. Much love. He's a tattoo artist in Amarillo now. But when I had met him, I was probably 13 years old or so. And he was just shredding it at the skate park like I had never seen it actually in person, you know? And it was so awesome to watch him shred it. It just really sparked a fire in me. So then from then on, I mean, it was just practice, and trying to get better and just trying to, you know, perfect my skills as a skateboarder. You know? Just try to be as authentic as possible at that point, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, you finally got to hit the skate parks, you know, what you're reading about, seeing in the magazines, seeing
watching
in
on
skate videos.
YouTube and shit, you know?
Like, I guess they obviously had transitions there. How was that going from like straight flat ground to like learning how to ride ramps for the first time? Or do you even remember? It was just kind of something you did.
Well, because I had been exposed to skate parks before when I was younger. My dad would take us. So like, I mean, I was dropping in on quarter pipes at like 4 and 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
You know, like able to do that. But as I got older, those opportunities kind of went away, and so I had to make do with what I had, which was just flat ground or just finding random skate spots in town that were kind of, you know, they're street spots, obviously, you know, they sucked, you know. So, but I mean, it was really cool, man. Made me pretty humble. And as soon as I moved to Amarillo, I met more people. And I was like 15 when I moved there. And then that's when I really just started to really take off, because there was a lot of really good skaters around me who were pushing me to get better, you know? So
I noticed in some of the small towns, especially like around the little downtown areas, that there's actually some really good spots.
Yeah, there was a couple really cool spots there, actually. Yeah, there actually was, like up at the high school.
Like county high schools, county courthouse stair sets and things like that.
The post office. There was like, you know, these skate spots in the town, like the 3 out of every place in the town, you know, and so the only people that skated knew about those 3 spots, and that's where we would go. Kind
of like a little rallying point that people would meet at.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's cool. Did you have like a little crew, and you want to shout out some names of your crew?
Yeah, so obviously it was me, it was my brother Jason, my homie Lucas Swain. He was a little bit older than me. Like I said, there was a couple other kids that kind of skated with me that I don't remember their names right now, but they kind of fell off the radar later on. It was kind of like in and out, you know. My homie Caden, he's still one of my best friends to this day. We kind of helped him get into skating, and he skated with us forever until he quit, you know. And then outside of that, it was mainly just me and Jason. We were just in constant, like, friendly competition with each other, you know, pushing each other to learn more constantly. Exactly. You know, if Jason lands the kickflip, I got to land it, you know. If he learns this new trick, I got to learn a new trick. And then just constant back and forth, you know, and playing skate constantly and just like pushing each other to get better, you know. So that was pretty cool.
So you were in the Amarillo skate scene. Tell me a little bit about that skate scene.
So like I said, I moved to Amarillo when I was 15, because I was living with my dad in Fritch, moved to Amarillo with my mom. So I'm staying with her. I would have been in 9th grade, but I hated school, man. I dropped out of school. I didn't like it. And so initially I wasn't even going. But through school, when I was going in the very beginning, I ended up meeting a couple homies. Their name is Tony and Luis. So I met Tony and Luis in high school in 9th grade. I remember walking in Tascosa, because like I said, you know, from Fritch, 2,000 people in the whole town, to go into a school where there's probably 2,000 people. You know what I mean? So like I was in the hallways in the common spot, you know, and Luis and Tony just walked up to me and were like, "Hey, bro, you look like you skate," and just started talking to me. And so we like made this relationship, and that's what kind of.
Wow, that's so friendly. They didn't like vibe you at all, or
they were just like, "Hey, bro, you look like you skate. What's your best trick?" And I was like, "Oh, bro, I can tray flip like this 3-stair that's up the road or something." They were like, "Okay, cool, that's dope.
Prove it."
Yeah. And then we ended up just linking up after that, and they got me in touch with a couple people, Nick Eeks, Josh Rea. They are part of a group called Cold Cuts.
Cold Cuts. Okay.
Yeah, you can find them on YouTube. You can find their videos.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of those videos with them.
Yeah.
They were really cool to me. And that's when I kind of got exposed to filming.
All right.
I hadn't really been with anybody who actually filmed skateboarding until I met them. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is like how it is, like really going out, hitting street spots, filming, being on a schedule with it, and, actually really trying to film video parts versus just skating for the fun of it, like trying to, because, there's a different competition between just, friendly competition with your brother or whatever else, and then trying to really prove yourself.
Yeah,
and that brings something else out inside of you that skating just wherever else doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's when I started to progress a lot as well, because I was like, oh man, I got to keep up with everybody else around me, because they had grown up in Amarillo at the skate parks, so I was like, I got to learn a lot and learn it really fast.
Are there a lot of really good skaters there?
Yeah, there's some really good skaters there. Yeah, man. Shout out my homie Devin Maldonado. He was one of like the best skateboarders in Amarillo and part of Cold Cuts, and he had some awesome video parts, man. Just excellent skateboarder, like balls to the walls, sticking it, like first try, no matter what, just trying to put it down, like really awesome skateboarding, just raw,
Yeah.
So I just loved it, and I just gravitated towards it. And then obviously, with growing up with Instagram and everything like everybody has now, we're always trying to get clips, always trying to get videos and post it and things like that, so.
That's a good point. You grew up around social media with everything going on to YouTube or Instagram clips and things like that. I obviously grew up a little older generation. We just had like sequence photos and Thrasher and things like that. And do you feel like there's more of a pressure to make a clip for social media than like just like enjoying it sometimes? Or what are the pros and cons of that?
I think that it certainly could be a lot of pressure on somebody if it's not handled in the correct way. Okay. Because it can be destructive if you're just constantly comparing yourself to everybody else that's out there. And especially with something like skateboarding, because it is so big and there are so many great skaters, you kind of just feel like you're just a drop inside of the ocean when you put these things out there, But the other side of that is that since there are so many good skateboarders, it pushes you to really have to be yourself and also push yourself past what you think you're capable of, and then so that makes you a better skateboarder. It also it's made the community of skating so much bigger, and I think it's just awesome what it's done for it. On the positive side, I think it way outweighs the negative side for sure.
Well, that's a good perspective on it too. And it seems like, you said those two guys came up to you at high school, said you look like you skate. Seems more inclusive than the way that me and your dad grew up.
No, for sure. And that's kind of what's cool about skateboarding too, because even when I was younger, it was still kind of looked at as like a bad thing if you were like a skateboarder, like you were kind of like the outsider, or maybe you were a troublemaker or something because you were a skater, but now that stigma is completely gone. People don't feel that way anymore because they've realized that realistically it's a sport just like any other thing, you know what I mean? And it's kind of weird with skateboarding because I feel like you almost can't categorize it as a sport because it's not really like a team. It's like not, I don't know. It's kind of like
it's a lifestyle culture. It's an art form. It's a sport. It's a lot of different things.
Like my dad always says you don't play skateboarding. Because it's just you and the board.
You do skateboarding. Or you are skateboarding.
Exactly, man. So shout out to my dad for that one, man, because he always just told us to follow our dreams and just to always believe in ourselves. And I remember being a kid and I was like maybe 9-10 years old, and I like wholeheartedly believed in myself that I was going to be like a professional skateboarder, like I had no doubts in my mind. I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. And then as you get older, the world kind of creeps its way into your life, kind of influences your perspectives, and you start to put limits on yourself, and you really don't even realize it until later on. And I think that that's what's cool about it now is that I'm older, so I do have that perspective, and it makes me just want to do skateboarding for the love of it. And if, making money with it or even just being known for it comes with that, then I'm open to that. But if not, I'm just doing it because I love it, man. You know, and I want to inspire other people to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah. If you follow your passion, you'll create a legacy that will have more value than the actual monetary figure behind it. You know? And like what you were saying about life and all the demands creeping up, it's like boiling a frog in increasingly hot water over a slow amount of time before you know it, the frog is dead.
Exactly. You know, and, like there was a study that was done with children, and basically there was these kids, and let me restart. There was these people, they had hired another group to study children and to study groups of people to find out what made a genius, you know?
Okay.
And what they found is that in the age groups of children that were like around 5 years old, like 80% of them scored genius level scores on this test, right? And then they tested them at 10 and it went down. They tested them at 15, it's way down. They tested them at like 20, it's basically gone, you know? So like there's this inherent thing inside of all of us that we have that we love to do, this passion, like you were saying, that you like there's a calling that you have no matter what it is. And you know, the world tries to just crush that out of you, you know, unfortunately. But if you can foster that, it creates something like you were saying that is worth a lot more than anything else to you, you know? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring back that perspective of being a kid, of being like anything's possible, like, you know, not placing those limits on myself. And so that's basically where I'm at right now.
100%. I mean, it's exactly what I'm doing here with this skate park and skate shop. It's, you know, kind of a pirate institution at this point.
I love it, man. It's just so cool. You know, it's like just so hashing, just like old school and awesome. You know, it brings a good vibe to the area. And it's so cool to be like the only indoor skate park in this whole area too. Like how odd is that? You know? It's like super cool.
I mean, back to like skateboarding in West Texas, or I guess Amarillo is not really West Texas. It's like North Texas, Panhandle, Texas.
WT is there.
But like you think about Friday Night Lights, you think about football, you know, you think about skateboarding. What in the hell are these skateboarders doing out here? You know, and not only you're a skateboarder, you didn't finish high school, and you fit all the little things that people point fingers at, you know. And I went to a football game because my daughter was cheering in a middle school football game the other day, and it felt so normal. Like the cheerleaders were so polite to the adults, and everybody was so nice, and I was like, I didn't grow up around anything normal, you know?
Yeah, like this is
kind of refreshing, but in a weird way. And the skateboarding is kind of the polar opposite of that. And I like that you're embracing this like creativity about it, you know, and that you're like, this is what, you know, we're going against what mainstream society has told us is not, you know, acceptable.
Exactly. And I mean, what I found is that the only people that make any differences, whether it's small or big, is the people who do go against the norms. You know what I mean? Who think outside of the box. And those are the people who end up changing things or making things happen in a different way. People seeing things from a different perspective, you know? But, skateboarding is just amazing, man. Like, I don't know where I would be without it. I've always done it. You know, it's crazy to think about it because, like, I'm 26, but I've been skating for so long. It's like, I mean, I've been skating for over 10 years, like really
24 years if you started it too.
Exactly. But like really actually like trying to skate for over 10 years, you know?
And you're very career minded about it too. And so that's kind of where I want to go into as well. Like, you see yourself being a professional skater. You are taking the steps, recording clips, like checking out social media generation algorithms, and, you know, trying to, you know, I guess for lack of better words, network amongst the local skaters to put yourself out there, which is kind of an intimidating process a lot of times. So how do you manage that with your own personal passion of skateboarding?
Well, I guess that I try not to let it get in the way. You know, and I try to let just following my heart be the first and foremost thing. And then whatever follows that afterwards is up to the creator and not to me, you know, in my mind, right? Like, it's kind of, at the end of the day, I'm going to do everything that I can do to make this happen. So that even if I failed at it, I would still be fulfilled because I gave it 100%. But I know inside of my mind that if I didn't actually try, that I would regret it, you know? And I think that it took me getting a little bit older and not being young to actually have that perspective, to look at it and be like, I'm not going to be able to skateboard forever. It's something I've wanted to do my entire life. I can't remember a time that I didn't want to do it. I'm like, why am I not going to pursue this? And so I'm going to either win or I'm going to go down fighting. It's one of the two, man.
I'm going down swinging. Better watch out.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. So I'm very serious about it. I've been skateboarding every single day.
Okay, so speaking of that, what are your go-to tricks? Like, what do you like the best? Like, no. What can you do everywhere?
What can I do everywhere?
Yeah.
Tray flip, I can do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Kick flip, I can do that probably almost anywhere as well.
Okay.
Front shove, back 180, back 3 is one of my favorite tricks to do too. Backside flip, kind of most of your basic tricks. The things that I have kind of steered away from, unfortunately, is heel flips.
Heel flips, really? Yeah. Why?
I don't know. It just I can do them. It's just not as good as kick flips. Kick flips are just natural to me, and for whatever reason, I just never really pursued learning how to do it. And do them as consistently as I can do kick flips. I can do them. They just are kind of ugly. And so I don't like it, you know what I mean? But switch heels are dope. Switch heels are dope, but regular heel flips, I don't really do them,
Okay. Do you have any I guess tricks that when you finally learn, you'll be like, I've made it?
I think I love nollie inward heel. I've already landed it before, but I would like to have that trick just unlocked.
Yeah.
Because it is just it's just a great looking trick in general, I really like that one. But I don't know. I mean, tray flip is just timeless, and it's just my favorite trick.
Okay.
I think it just is one of the best looking tricks, and I just love it. I was actually just talking with my dad on the phone this morning about it. I was like, just to think that Rodney Mullen just came up with this idea of the tray flip, and it all comes to him. And I was thinking about it, I was like, it's almost like he was just listening to the skateboard and what the skateboard wanted to do because of the way that the physics work with the skateboard spinning the way that it does, with the tray flip and the way that the pressure works.
Yeah.
When you're a kid and you're trying to learn how that trick works, you're thinking to yourself, it's a kick flip and it's a 3 shove and you're trying to combine those two. Yeah. But really, it's that's not really how you do the trick or approach it at all, because realistically, when you're doing the trick, it's you're almost just pushing your front foot forward and the board just flips. Once you get it down, it's one of those weird tricks where it just kind of happens once you know the technique, But I just love the physics of that trick too. It's just an awesome trick.
So
he
didn't compartmentalize 2 tricks into one. He just treated that as a separate trick.
Yeah, it's just one trick. I think that's its own trick. It is technically the combination of the two, but it is its own trick. So there's techniques with everything, obviously. Different tricks, different techniques,
Okay. All right.
Down to that, man.
Yeah.
But
so what's your Mount Rushmore of skateboarding? Four skaters that would be engraved in stone on a mountain, their faces.
Oh man, dude. You gotta
pro or
you gotta throw Chris Cole up there.
Okay.
Number 1 for me.
All right.
I love Chris Cole. Definitely Nigel Houston. I mean, you can't argue with it. He's just one of the gnarliest and most prolific street skaters and competition skateboarders ever. I mean, he's got to be up there. I'm going with Christian Okoye. Okay. Okoye is going up there for sure.
Yeah.
And then Rodney Mullen's got to be up there. I mean, that's just off the top of my head, but that's got to be it, for me.
Okay. That's a good Mount Rushmore right there.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice, man. So do you have any shout outs you want to make?
Man, shout out the Bone Crew.
Okay.
Shout out the skate gym. Shout out my mom, my dad, my lovely wife over here, Allie. Shout out her. We're fixing to have our first child in April. So thank God for that. Praise God, man. And shout out to the creator, man. Wouldn't be here without him.
Right on, man. So any final thoughts?
Man, if I could say anything, it's just to not put limits on yourself.
Yeah.
Go out there, actually try your hardest, because I feel like we're in an age where a lot of people aren't putting in 100% effort. They're just halfway trying,
Yeah.
And so I think that we need a little bit more of that, balls to the walls, just going for it in society, because it's kind of missing. So it's if you have a dream, if you have a passion, no matter what it is, if that's what you really want to do and that's what your heart is calling you to do, then do it, man. No matter what anybody says, and just keep headstrong and believe in it, and it'll happen for sure. And same goes to you, same goes to anybody, man. I believe that for everybody,
100%, man. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man.
This is season 3, episode 2 of the Wood Skateboard podcast. If you haven't listened to the other episodes, go check them out. They are on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all that. And I'm slowly uploading them to YouTube as well on the Skate Gym channel. And go listen to Won't Shut Up and Skate podcast with Chip and Carrie as your hosts. Beware and Hellsick are sponsors of this podcast as well. And come to the Skate Gym here. Come get a session in. Come take some lessons. We do teach adult and kid lessons. And yeah, man, that's it.
Right on.
Later.
Support your local skate
That's
shops.
right. Support your local skate shop. It's on the back
Later,
of my
y'all.
t-shirt.